There we go. Alright, I'm going to take a break from constantly eating carrots without stopping to watch this TvP between LemonyTang and marosei on the European server. It's nice to have some higher level games as well as lower level games and mix it up a little bit, get a little variety going. There's something here for everyone. Incidentally, I found out that XSplit has been saving all of my broadcasts to my hard drive in addition to uploading them, which means that I can simply put my old casts that Twitch TV decided to get rid of up onto YouTube if people still want to watch them. So I'll probably get around to doing that sometime this week. Alright, here we go. So marosei, close air positions on Shattered Temple, marosei the red Protoss at 12 o'clock, and LemonyTang the blue Terran at the 3 o'clock position. TvP is a really strange matchup because once Terran gets to the point where they've got medevacs and ghosts and enough of an economy to really crank those out, and once the upgrades have equalized, it's really hard for Protoss to win. Like, Ghosts and Vikings, medevacs, and bio, really powerful skill set for killing Protoss units. But before then, like around the 2 base stage, before Terran's really gotten all of their stuff running, Protoss units are extraordinarily powerful. And with good force fields, a 2 base timing push from Protoss can absolutely wreck a Terran's day. But even more weirdly, at the very, very early portion of the game, like right around when Concussive Shells comes out, Terran units are way stronger than Protoss units. The balance of power changes so quickly in this matchup that it's difficult to effectively construct timings. And one of the reasons I think that the 1-1-1 push was so popular was because it was a really effective 1-base push that could kill a Protoss before they got to the point of being able to take you out with their usual timing attacks. And one of the reasons that Terran or Protoss hate it so much is because it sort of forces them to play a different kind of 1-base game themselves. You can hold it on 2 bases as Protoss, but it's pretty tricky. Just like it's possible to hold a 6-gate timing attack as Terran if you do a fast expansion, but it's tricky. So really, these two races are so good at killing each other in the early mid part of the game at different specific timings. It's a really difficult matchup to balance, I think. We'll see what these players end up doing. So far, we've got basically normal play. I'm guessing this is going to turn into a 2-Rax here from LemonyTang, judging by his SCV moving around and the quick gas. So he's probably going to throw a reactor down here. Yep, there's the reactor. So it's a pretty good opening. This is a second gas for marosei. This is a kind of aggressive but very flexible opening in that you don't have to commit and lose a bunch of dudes. You can just go off of these 2 racks and then get your command center going and make it a reasonably fast expansion that gives you the opportunity to put pressure on and stay safe from certain, like I guess like a 3-gate expand. You can get enough intel from your early pressure to ward that off, but things like 4 gates will actually crush a 2 racks, which is kind of funny. But since we got the second gas going from marosei, it's not going to be a 4 gate, especially since he's been chronoing his probes, not his warp gate research. So Soccer Sentry combo coming out here, fairly normal. Marines coming out 2 at a time. Tech Lab on the second barracks. Usually we'll see you wait until you can push out with a Marauder that has a concussive shell upgrade, and at that point you determine if you can do an expansion safely or not, based on how many Protoss units there are. And also putting out with the initial Stalker, usually this is what Protoss players do, just to gauge what the Marine count is. But I don't think he's even going to get up this ramp. He really shouldn't have come down, he should have stayed up there, because he's just going to get hit point damage on these guys in exchange for nothing, because these shields will come back. But he did scare him off long enough for the Marauder to come out. So the first Marauder is going to move out. Concussive Shells is going to finish when they get there. It's a pretty advanced depot. I mean, he's still got 8 supply free. To me, that indicates he's not going to try and take an aggressive fast expansion, because if he was, he would save these minerals so that you can continue to produce Marauders and Marines and be able to get this command center out. But anyway, it's a 1 gate fast expand from marosei, and usually the 2 racks is really good at putting a lot of pressure on, because although you can get chopped in half by these force fields that you try to go up the ramp, you can usually deny this nexus or make them pull probes like what's happening here. So I'm not in love with that decision to move up the ramp. You do get some probe kills. You got a I think it was a stalker that got killed. I wasn't actually paying attention. But alright, and there's a sentry. So pretty crappy micro from marosei, just letting his units die there for nothing. But under ordinary circumstances, I don't like the decision to go up the ramp. I would prefer to see him try to cancel this nexus and then pull back. But regardless, still no expansion here. So the warp gates are finished, probes are coming out, and chase these guys away. Good position here at the bottom of the ramp. I like that a lot. Lots of probes go down. Looking pretty good for LemonyTang at this point. There are 3 gates up, so there's going to be more stalkers. Basically no mining going on. Can continue to kill probes. Maybe focus down these stalkers. Maybe run around and get shot at for nothing. Decent micro there. Alright, we got a lot of money back here. We should really be starting our command center. I mean, yeah, this is super late. Like, I'm gonna pause this. It's difficult to multitask when you're doing an attack and keep track of things that are back at your base. But in order to really capitalize on the advantage you've gained here, which is decently significant, I mean, you're 9 SCVs up, and you're basically on even footing production-wise, and you have perfect knowledge of what he's doing. You need to get this going as soon as possible, and you have such an excess of supply. Some of these could have been turned into a command center. You've got 2 mules saved up you could have been dropping, and these are hard things to practice and to critique. I like the choice of getting stim. It's just something that really to focus on. There are opportunities during this kind of engagement where you're not actually looking at what's going on. There's no need to do any kind of micromanagement that you can use to say, how many minerals do I have? In 10 seconds I need to go back and make a command center, and so on and so forth. Good job continuing to produce units, not hard with hotkeys. But, you know, multitasking is going to set you up much better after this. Okay. What I'm trying to say is that the actual damage done here by this 2 racks is good, but it isn't necessarily, if that makes sense. Like, you're not guaranteed to get as many probe kills as you just did. It was really kind of bad micro on marosei's part that let you get that opening. So, if you hadn't done that much damage, you'd actually be behind now, because his expansion's done. You're gonna be forced to lose these dudes, and now you're just sort of sitting on 1 base with greater mineral saturation, but half the production, and you don't even have your command center halfway done, and you're still on 2 racks. You see what I'm saying? Like, you've gained an edge, but only just, because he's going to be able to get back up to even harvester account really quickly. And he's on 2 bases instead of just 1, and he's actually 1 gateway up. So, alright, so let's watch this transition. I probably would not have fallen back to this position. I would have sat at this watchtower and kept an SCV here to make sure you wouldn't sneak around, because now you're basically blind, and it's really scary this time in the game when the Protoss is on 2 base and you're having transition to 2 bases yourself, where you don't have the production to make a large enough army to stop this. You don't have any techs, there's no medevacs, and you're basically having to sit behind your bunkers and pray that he doesn't come kill you. So getting the advanced warning of when he's coming is super important. You can try to bait force fields in the middle of the map, you can catch probes that are putting down forward pylons. A lot of opportunities that are lost by keeping your units way back here. So here comes the push, runs the stalkers ahead, gets shot up by the bunker. Needs to float this. Get in the factory on 3 with stim, okay. And it'd also give you a good look at what the unit composition actually is, because I would say, you know, with only 3 stalkers and mostly sentries, with stim, I'd be getting up in that guy's business, and I'd be trying to pick off sentries and force the force fields and all that, so. Also not sure why you scanned here, since you know his units were just here. I guess you're seeing if he pulled back or not, but I probably would have scanned here and seen if he was going to go for 6 gates all in, or what kind of tech he's going. In this case, there's 5 gates in a robotics facility, so. Of course, you can't see that, only we can. But yeah, I don't like being this passive with your units. If you have the opportunity to hold the watchtower, keep your forces out on the world, I would take it. So I like this move out, maybe. if this is actually an attack, and if so, why? Like, I'm wondering what you saw that informed you this was a good idea. And I'm wondering why you didn't check the watchtower. Like, what is this timing exactly? What did you get here? Like, I'm a bit confused. I guess you felt safe here, so you thought you could move out, but nice force fields, cut you in half there. So, gonna kill some sentries, which is really good. I would like to see some focus fire on these sentries so you could kill more of them. But still, pretty decent. It's gonna be another round of cutting in half, or just blocking off, I guess. It's interesting. Make some bunkers with these, otherwise why'd you bring them along, right? Okay, I really hate the decision to try and focus down this Nexus. Like, you just do not have enough guys here to get that done without dying, so would have been much better off focusing the sentries and then killing some probes, I think. If that was 500 shields worth of damage, 550, that could have killed every sentry and quite a few probes if you had spread that around a little bit more. So, corner the units, warp into the zealots, says you're going to lose these dudes, that's fine. Not the most cost-effective engagement in the world. You were way ahead in this before, but, you know, it was alright. Definitely keeping him stuck in his base, making him so that he can't move out very effectively. I like the aggressive third. Alright, we got medevacs coming out. Would like to see some more barracks for sure. 3 is not going to cut it against 5 gateways. This is cute. I like that. So we got a forward pylon going down. The 5 gates are up. We got observers out. This one needs to be turned into a gateway, or a warp gate rather. And immortals coming out. Chronoing those. Alright, I like keeping the pressure on with the drop. I mean, I'm not sure what these guys are doing though. Like, you suffered a defeat and you've only got 3 racks up right now, so you're going to be way behind in army count. I don't know why you're moving out with your ground army here. And just gonna let these guys die, I guess. Okay, that's cool. Meanwhile, the drop. Okay. 2 racks, a little way late on the barracks. So, I'm gonna try and suicide the robotics facility. It's always good to cut down on the tech, and definitely kill that. Nice. Good job. So those units are dead. But still, really low production here. Tons of money sitting around. So, I love the killing of the robotics facility. I think that's genius. Shut down Colossus, immortal production. Very good call. Not sure what happened to those Hellions. It was pretty funny, though. Warpins here. And this dude's got a ton of money sitting around, too. He's really gas-starved, mostly because he wasn't mining from his natural, so neither of you are doing a great job of managing your bases here. Okay, these barracks are up. I would like to see some more. There's another one, that's good. Good job with the medevacs. I mean, I'm not sure why you're not dropping again. Really, I mean, you just have no idea what this is coming, you know, so. Alright, this is the end, this is the last engagement of the game. So let's take a look at what's about to happen. We've got enough force fields to completely shut down repairs in this bunker, which actually is really easy to do because you built a missile turret behind it, which I'm not in love with. I think you should put it in front, so that way you can get SCVs into a bigger arc behind this, and that way you also have detector control farther ahead of your actual army defense. Unit count is not good for you. 8 Marauders and 8 Marines against 9 Stalkers, 9 Zealots, an Immortal, and 5 Sentries. Yikes. I mean, you're just going to get hosed by this, to be sure. You don't have the production to actually, like, keep making units and shut him down, like to reinforce and save yourself, because of these forward pylons. He's got 5 gateways with 2 more on the way. There's no way you can effectively stop this. So the only way to survive this attack is to defend the initial push with enough dudes left. So what you need to do is pull all these SCVs, throw them out front, and also, I'm really not in love with this particular choice of your base design because it trapped all these units down here. Although actually, it's tricky because you want to avoid zealots, but you also don't want to give yourself small, narrow corridors where you can get force fielded into bits. Like if you have units in here, you can just force field half of you off and pick you off from range. So I like a more organized base layout up here. I like to keep this pretty open because you can use SCVs to block off zealots that come in. And that'll save you from getting force fielded like you're about to be. So let's watch this happen. So the bunker is empty. Force field's right there, so you just lost 2 more of your Marauders, this guy also, and you can't return fire. So these guys get hosed. Some of the Zealots going down. The SCVs are pulled, but they're like kind of clustered up here, so they're just getting picked off. Units coming out here. So now you can just pull back, do another round of warping of zealots, and we're down to 6 marauders and 5 marines against soon to be 6 zealots, 8 stalkers, 1 sentry, and we're also pretty decent, pretty cost-effective engagement. But he's going to be able to reinforce much better than you are because he's got a ton of money and you got very little, and he's mining off 2 bases and you're only mining off of 1. So the zealots are getting shot down, some of your units not even firing. Now that all the SCVs are dead, there's no cushion for your units and they're going to get obliterated by these stalkers. Another round of warping of zealots. And like I said, you just don't have the production to keep this up. So you're also down like 20 harvesters, 24 harvesters at this point, which is really not good. Also stimmed your units half to death, medevacs are out of energy, so yeah, you know, this is the way it goes. Like the 2 base pushes out of Protoss are really, really strong. Even though this Protoss player is pretty crappy, right? I mean, he's sitting on 2,000 minerals and he was microing like garbage early on. Just the overcommittal of your units, throwing them away basically for nothing in the middle of the game, really dangerous, and also fell way behind in your production. So let's go back to where you lost the game, which by the way you just did. Anyway, so you're head in supply, you're basically even in workers because of Chrono Boost, but you have mules, so it's fine. At this point you really need to add the 2 barracks like right now, but the point where you lose the game isn't here. 1 minute later, you're doing this attack, and this is pretty much a wash for you, right? Like, you start out 400 resources ahead in units lost, and you end like 400 resources ahead in units lost, right? So it's a wash, you know, you're basically exactly the same. But during all of this, you are still only sitting on 3 barracks. So you basically traded an equal number of units, right? There's no change here. But he's sitting on 5 gateways plus a robotics facility. You've got medevacs, but those can't shoot, they just keep your dudes alive, and only 3 racks. This is where you lost the game. When you fell behind in production, and then this is just exacerbated by right here, where you threw away a ton of units for nothing, and now you're just... Anyway, this is a decent drop. Kill the robotics facility was really good. But again, you only kill, like, what? How many probes do you even get here? Like, none? Yeah, and no units. So now you're 500 resources behind. And you're down in production, because these guys are pretty loud, they haven't done yet. So the reason you lost this game wasn't any of the reasons you listed in the thread, which are build was so economical, even though you killed a lot of probes, I wasn't ahead. I'm not sure if you're referring to his build being so economical or what. Attacking the gateway rather than the probes? No, that was fine in the early game. The drop you do is pretty bad. Yeah, you killed the robotics facility, I'm fine with that. No, none of those reasons are true. The reason you lost the game is because you didn't make more barracks. You had the money, you just didn't do it, and it's part of that multitasking your base kind of thing. You would definitely have won the game if you had been better at multitasking your base while you're doing your very initial attack off of 2 racks against 1 gate. Fast expand. But losing the game right here was just, you just didn't have enough stuff. And you didn't have enough stuff because you didn't have enough of these. So next time, make more barracks. Oh, and in case anybody actually wants to watch the GG, we'll watch how this fight finally ends. Command center goes down, all the units are down, 2,000 minerals in the bank, 7 zealots. This is a sad day for Terran players everywhere. GG, left the game. There you have it, folks. That's all she wrote.